Script. Welcome back to Act of Kindness, the place where we share stories that touch hearts, open eyes, and remind us all that compassion is stronger than anything else in this world. If you're new here, make sure to join our family, because every story we tell has the power to change the way you see the world. Today's story is about an undercover boss, a humble cashier, and a discovery that will break your heart, but also inspire you to never judge anyone too quickly. The story begins in a mid-sized town where a national supermarket chain had been struggling with customer satisfaction. The CEO of the company, a man named Daniel Ross, was known for being sharp, disciplined, and results-driven. He built the chain from a handful of stores into hundreds across the country. But despite the success, Daniel started to feel disconnected from the heart of his company, the employees who kept the shelves stocked, the registers running, and the customers coming back. So, Daniel decided to do something bold. He signed up for the television show that many of you may have seen before, Undercover Boss. He wanted to go behind the scenes, change his identity, and see what was really happening in his stores. His transformation was simple but effective. He grew out a scruffy beard, wore thick glasses, and dressed in an ill-fitted store uniform. His cover story was that he was a new trainee named Mark, who was starting in entry-level positions to learn retail. No one knew he was the multimillionaire CEO who signed their paychecks. On his first day, Daniel was nervous. He had been in boardrooms for years but hadn't bagged groceries or mopped floors in decades. He was assigned to different departments across the week. Some employees were hardworking but tired. Others were careless, complaining, or even rude to customers. Daniel saw both the good and the bad. But nothing struck him more than the day he met a cashier named Jordan. Jordan was a young black man in his mid-20s. What stood out immediately was that both of his arms were wrapped in bandages and supported with braces. Daniel wondered how someone with broken arms could even function as a cashier. He assumed it must have been a temporary job or maybe the store had made an exception. But what Daniel didn't realize was that this meeting would change everything. When Daniel walked up to shadow Jordan at the register, he saw the young man smile warmly at every customer. Despite his injuries, Jordan used a combination of his elbows and careful movements with his limited strength to scan items and handle transactions. It was clumsy, it was slow, but it was honest work, and customers seemed patient because of the respect and kindness Jordan gave each one. At first, Daniel thought Jordan must have had some accident, maybe a car crash, maybe a sports injury. So, during a break, he asked casually, "Man, what happened to your arms? Must have been rough." Jordan hesitated for a moment, then gave a small smile. "Life happened, I guess. But it's okay. I'm just grateful to be here." Daniel wanted to know more, but he didn't want to break his cover. Still, he couldn't stop thinking about how this young man could possibly live, work, and survive with such a disability. Later in the day, Daniel watched carefully as Jordan helped an elderly woman. She couldn't carry her bags, so Jordan, with his broken arms, used every bit of effort to balance the bags on his forearms and walk her to the parking lot. Daniel was stunned. How could someone in such pain still care so much about others? That night, while filming his undercover diary for the show, Daniel looked straight into the camera and admitted, "I don't know this young man's story yet, but something tells me it's deeper than I realize. I've seen employees who are lazy, who give excuses. But this kid, he has no excuses, just effort. I need to know more." The next day, Daniel worked with Jordan again. This time, he asked more personal questions. "So, do you live around here? Do you have family in town?" Jordan's smile faded a little. "Yeah, kind of. My mom passed away when I was 16. My dad wasn't around much. I've been on my own since then. I've got a little sister, though. She's in high school. I'm trying to make sure she gets everything she needs. I don't want her to go through what I went through." Daniel was silent. He felt his chest tighten. Here was a young man, working a minimum wage job with both arms broken, and still he was the caretaker for his little sister. "Your arms," Daniel finally said. Was it an accident?" Jordan hesitated again. He glanced away, then back. "Not exactly. I work 2 jobs. I was delivering food late at night, and a couple of guys jumped me. They tried to take my phone, my cash, everything. I fought back. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. They broke my arms with a metal pipe. I ended up in the hospital. I can't even afford the medical bills yet. But I couldn't stop working, you know. If I don't work, my sister doesn't eat. So here I am. Daniel felt his throat close up. He wanted to drop the act, reveal who he really was, and promise Jordan that everything would be okay. But he knew he had to wait until the big reveal. Still, every part of him was shaken. Throughout the week, Daniel continued to observe Jordan. Every day, despite the pain, Jordan showed up. He smiled, he greeted customers, he cracked jokes with coworkers. He even trained new hires on how to be polite at the register. All while carrying the burden of his injuries and the weight of responsibility for his sister. Finally, the last day came, the day of the reveal. Daniel brought Jordan to the company headquarters under the pretense of a training follow-up. Jordan was nervous, dressed in his one clean button-up shirt. He had no idea what was coming. Daniel walked in, no longer in disguise. Clean-shaven, in a suit, looking every bit the CEO he was. Jordan's eyes widened in shock. "Wait, you're the boss." Daniel nodded. "Yes, Jordan, my name isn't Mark. I'm Daniel Ross, the CEO of this company. And I've been watching you very closely." Jordan froze. He didn't know if he was in trouble or being rewarded. Daniel continued, his voice trembling. "Jordan, you have inspired me more than I can say. I came here to see the reality of my company. I saw people who complained, who cut corners. But you worked with broken arms. You showed compassion to customers. You carried groceries for someone when you could barely carry yourself. And you did it all with a smile. You've taught me more about strength and kindness than I've learned in decades of business." Tears welled up in Jordan's eyes. He lowered his head, not knowing what to say. Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. "Jordan, I know about your situation. I know about your medical bills, and I know you're raising your sister. I want to help. The company is covering all of your hospital expenses, every single dollar. On top of that, I'm giving you a scholarship fund for your sister so she can finish high school and go to college without worrying about money. And lastly, I want to offer you a full-time salaried position with the company, one where you won't have to strain your body just to survive. You deserve better than that." Jordan gasped. His hands trembled as he took the envelope. Tears streamed down his face, and for a moment, the cameras captured raw humanity, the kind that makes everyone watching remember why kindness matters. "I don't know what to say," Jordan whispered. Thank you so much. I just wanted to do my best. I didn't think anyone noticed." Daniel placed a hand on his shoulder. "The world noticed today, and I promise you, your story will inspire millions." When the episode aired, viewers were moved to tears. Messages poured in from across the country, offers to help, to donate, to support Jordan and his sister. But the greatest gift of all was the knowledge that kindness, resilience, and dedication never go unseen. And that's the power of stories like this. They remind us that behind every uniform, behind every smile, there is a story. Some are heavier than we realize. Some will break your heart. But all of them prove that humanity is stronger when we care for one another. So the next time you see someone struggling, remember Jordan. Remember that strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, humble, and holding on with broken arms. Thank you for watching this story on Act of Kindness. If it touched your heart, share it with someone else. Because kindness spreads fastest when it's shared. And if you're new here, make sure to join us for more stories that will inspire your soul and remind you that goodness still exists in this world. Until next time, keep your heart open, your hands ready to help, and never forget, the smallest act of kindness can change someone's entire life.